Hi everyone, it's Jeff from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to the Global Stampin Video Hop with a theme of simple stamping with new products from the January to June 2022 Mini Catalogue. Today I'll be creating a card using the Grassy Grove stamp set, and this stamp set is a lovely set to create scenes as it's got silhouette images on there. So you have the deer, trees, Grassy Grove. And it does come as a bundle with the Grove dies to create a more elaborate scene and create apertures on your card bases and put in die cut elements. But as I said, the theme is simple stamping, so I'll be using the images from here, and I'll be using the grass and the trees, as well as just the thank you sentiment there. So you'll need Stays On or Memento. Now I do prefer Stays On for this type of projects because it does leave a darker image. Now you can see the difference. This one is a dye ink and this one is a solvent ink. And I'll just be using a basic thick white card base. And the measurements for my card is 21 centimeters by 14.6 centimeters, scored at 10.5, which is in half, or that is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. So place it along your trimmer at 10.5 or 4 1/8 of an inch, and use the gray score tool. To burnish, I normally fold it inwards first and use a bone folder to burnish your card in both sides. I do find that just makes it flatter as well. So I'll have some scrap paper because I'll be sharing a second generation or stamping off technique to get different shades from your ink pad. So Stays On. Now this Stays On has got plastic coating on there, so I just put a dimensional inside, so then it lifts up that protective layer cover as well as soon as you lift off the lid. And I'm gonna start off with the grass. Now red rubber stamps, of course you can't see through it. What I do tend to use is the paper trimmer. It's got a ledge at the bottom, so if you align and butt your acrylic block and use whatever is on your trimmer as a guide. So if I take this off, I'm going to use that brown line as a guide and to place my image to make sure that it is straight on there. Now the edge of this stamp is not very straight, but I'm just using those two endpoints as a guide to keep that straight. You can do the same for your sentiment. Now this one is easy because it's got the two straight lines, and you can use that. As you can see, I've already done that one, and the two pointed ends hopefully match across there. So that's just a tip for you. And I'm actually gonna use the stamp off technique first, and we're gonna create a frame using this stamp image. Now sometimes it's easier to ink up your stamp like so, or if it's a smaller image, you can just tap it onto your ink pad. Now stamp off, and it'll give you a second generation ink, which is lighter than normal. So I'm gonna align it centrally, and stamp down. So you can see it's a lot lighter than the first generation. So I'm just gonna repeat that around. Stamp off. I'm just going to turn this around and I'm just going to align the edge of that. And then stamp on. Then do the same. Until I built up my frame. Right, one more. So now I've created the frame. As my topper, I'm gonna use this tree and just gonna ink it up in, again, Memento, stays on even, in first generation. And just put that down along here. Oh, one tip as well, sometimes the images doesn't match where the end point is. So if you look on my stamp, I actually mark where the edge of that tree is on the side. So you can see through there, it's actually a lot higher than what is on the image. So I'll just ink this up because stays on does dry a lot quicker. But yes, if you need it to be quite accurate, just mark the side of your stamps. And we're going to use that as my, so hopefully this. So you can see I managed to, even though it was way down on the image, it's still on there. Now I'm going to leave it there and finish up with the thank you sentiment on the bottom left here. Now you can leave it there or add more texture using your paper trimmer. So for this one, we're going to use the scoring tool again. So you can lay it flat and we're going to add score lines on here. And because you can see through the ruler, I'm just going to place that where I want my first score line. So there, and I'm going to mark where, or place the scoring tool where I want it to start, score up, and then lightly guide it down, don't press too hard, and then score down from the bottom of the frame again. And I'm gonna repeat that. I'm just gonna move this along 0.5 centimeters or 3/16 of an inch and do the same. There you go, and then lightly push it to the bottom, press down, and then add another one, and I'm gonna add another one, so I've got 3 score lines. Now you can carry on all across, but I'm just gonna leave that with 3. Hopefully you can see, and I've actually done that as 1 centimeters or 3/8 of an inch, but I quite like that it's not the same. So finish up, you can embellish it with basic pearls or rhinestone, or add color with the holiday rhinestone as well as the champagne one. I'm actually going to use the brush brass butterflies. Now you can probably see I pressed too hard on my sentiment there, so I'm going to try and hide that with a butterfly. That's what embellishments are for. You can hide your blemishes onto there, and then one big one onto here. And there we have it. That is my simple stamping card using Grassy Grove stamp set. Black and white with a hint of brass, I guess. You can step it up if you have loads of ink pad in different colors. So this one is soft sea foam, and that's shaded spruce. The sentiment, I did use a different stamp set, Pansy Patch, I believe, and that's in Stays On as well. And I did the same with the scoring onto there. Now you can step it up even more if you have blending brushes. So I've got another piece of layer, basic white, just a normal one. I cut it at 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters square, or that is 2/3/8 of an inch, and stamped it around ink blended granny apple green. You can even do the stamping on the edge like so, and you can see that it gives it another frame. And then with the sentiment, you can just add it on a different layer of white, and that will just pop off the page. Okay, or even more, do some more stamping. So this one started off with the same, and I stamped the trees on there. Let's see it on. So that looks lovely as well with the pop of granny apple green. So again, you can do the sentiment, or how about fussy cutting your deer. So that one was stamped in Stays On. You can have that on, and there you go. I hope you enjoyed these simple stamping ideas using the Grassy Grove stamp set, and do check out the description below for the next video link in the Global Stampin Video Hop, as well as the products that I've used today available from our online shop. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time, bye!